Hello everyone. It's been interesting day today. I know you all doing some graphics and painting your vehicles and working on your motorbikes and making a beautiful graphics. And we did same here for my bike. And while painting, I remembered one of the great, well-known um, automobile designer. He's a product designer. His name is Daniel Simon. He's a very well-known designer in the world of automotive styling, a German guy. And the interesting part is he is also called as a futurist. The futurist means he works on a concept which are futuristic, and he had done awesome work and he did a lot of beautiful featuring work. How I got introduced to him, how I came to know about him is from the movie Tron. So you must have seen the movie Tron, and when I was looking at the movie Tron, I was very impressed with the quality of the graphics he had and the quality of the designs he had, and I was very sure that someone awesome product designer is behind designing the Tron vehicles. So I searched, and when I saw the movie, in the credits, the name came Daniel Simon's studio. So I fell in love with it. I started following him. I started understanding how they design, what do they do. They have clients everywhere. I mean, like, I don't need to introduce you to the Daniel Simon. You guys can go out and check on web, on Wikipedia and everything, that how Daniel Simon's work is. Just in Google, you just type Daniel Simon, you will get a lot of work done by he and his studio, and how futuristic concepts they work. The beauty of his work is the forms. Very, very futuristic, very beautiful forms. Very futuristic concept, how they had considered how the vehicles will be in the future. So, the characters, today's talk, not much about me telling you the story of Daniel Simon, but to look at the different forms, graphics, very interesting elements they got here in terms of detailings. And though it's a conceptual futuristic product, Daniel Simon goes in a detail and solves all the very minor design issues and everything, as if it's going to be really is going to be in production. Daniel Simon has a very big studio where they make a prototype, full-scale prototype, small-scale prototypes, and these prototypes had been mainly used for concept vehicles. So they have clients everywhere: Lamborghini, Mercedes, BMWs, and you name them. All the major American companies work with Daniel Simon on conceptual vehicle. Conceptual vehicle means, as you know, the concept in a fashion design. In the fashion design, they come up with something very crazy, very out of the box thinking of for the clothing. It may not be going to go to the market, but they go and show it to the people anyway, so that one can get inspired and one can show where the manufacturers are going, where the whole design is changing to. So similarly, as you see here, Daniel Simon himself is working on a prototype of the car, and the detailing has been happening here, and they do go to a great length to create a conceptual vehicles. The another movie came, Oblivion. Oblivion is also one of the movie when I saw, suddenly I saw that signature of Daniel Simon. You know, whenever he does a work, he has certain ways of designing the vehicle. The curves and the forms are very beautiful, and the stories behind it are also very good, as if some aliens or somebody is using these vehicles. So I was very impressed with his style, and so when the Oblivion movie came, I saw the same style in the movie, so I quickly went and checked the credits, and there, yeah, it was Daniel Simon. He had designed the work and designed the forms and conceptual vehicles for the movie Oblivion. Later on, recently, the Star Wars 8, The Return of the Jedi, all the spaceships were designed by Daniel Simon. Captain America's recent movie, all the vehicles are designed by him. So whenever there is a, it's like a category, if you look at the category of his styling, is fantasy. And I liked the way all his fantasy images are, use of robots, very much mechanical things. But I love the way he goes into the detailing and solves the problem. The balance between the colors and the proportions and the different detailing that it's been done, it's beautiful. Some of the well-known designers who design spaceships and Star Wars, and they conceptualize future vehicles, they do too much. They do very heavy detailing. What I like about Daniel Simon is simplicity. He has a simplicity, yet he's projecting how the future vehicles will be. So was very impressed. Even if I kind of started drawing my sketches inspired by Daniel Simon. It was a phase where I was trying to see that how I can draw the vehicles, and that's from Tron. As you remember, Tron Legacy, a good movie. If you have not seen it, see it. If you had seen the movie, see it again. It's an awesome movie where you can see the detailings and everything about the vehicles and how it's done, how the use of a light, and how the use of that's Oblivion. You can see the name there. So Oblivion is also a very good movie. So this is a space shuttle. It's like a very bad spaceship. It goes and kills the people. So you see that anger and everything into the shapes and the form. So the expressions were very strong in Oblivion, because he goes and he scans the person, and if this person is not registered, that person is killed. So it's a war time where the world is ending and they need to kill some enemies. So these pods will go up, scan the people, and they will kill it. So it's a killer machine and everybody's scared of him. So it's beautifully done the way they done. The expressions of what the whole vehicle is about is being put into the form. So as a product designer, I was very impressed, and I started following. I fell in love, and we used to watch Daniel Simon's work all the time, and it's like when I was in Motorola, my friends used to call this as mechanical pornography. So we take great pleasure in looking at the details. Oh, look at that curve. Oh, how beautiful it is. Oh, look at that whole form and how they done it. And it's like we used to spend hours and hours, and whenever we used to get time in Motorola, I remember our favorite time in the lunch time or after lunch time is to go and watch videos and the movies by Daniel Simon and his work. So it's like taking a pleasure in understanding the form. So as a designer, not only if you're a graphic designer or an industrial designer or architect, I think we need to have that orgasm, looking at the forms, looking at those mechanical concept, looking at the simplicity of that. You see those hexagonal 3 lines of the holes, that's a typical signature of Daniel Simon. So anywhere in the vehicle I see that, then I know that belongs to Daniel. So it's like all the principles of product design had been applied there, and very subtle use of color, very beautiful forms, and the way they repeat, and yet the way they had created the whole impact in the product design was beautiful. So as I was telling you, I started watching Daniel Simon, and I started collecting his posters. I started collecting all the collateral materials from Daniel Simon's work, and it was beautiful, and it was very inspiring. Most of my work was inspired by Daniel Simon. So in Motorola, when I was designing the radios and the product design and everything, it started kind of having an impact on me, that how I was designing and drawing, and how our initial sketching was pretty much Daniel Simon style. It's very easy for all of us to fall in love with automobile styling, because one of the world's best automobile designer, even Chris Bangle, had worked with Daniel Simon a lot. So one of the best automobile designers are working with one of the best companies, and they put in a lot of efforts. Automotive industries have a lot of money to pay to the designers, research, ergonomics and everything. So a lot of effort goes into designing them. So there is a rich forms, a beauty into the detailing, the way the problems been resolved is something very beautiful to see. So also one of the image of Tron movie has a train, It's like a hyperloop train, and that train has a very interesting detailing. So when you watch the movie now, it will be very interesting to watch the details. And automobiles, or the pod which moves you from one point to another point, is always something attractive. I don't know how many of you are a Star Wars fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I watch all the Star Wars many times, and every time a new Star Wars comes, I go and watch them. What I like about Star Wars is the vehicles, is the pods, is the way the people move, and it's beautiful. The way the wars are happening between the spaceships and vehicles, it's beautiful to see that. The way they open up the spaceship to collect the sunlight because they work on solar, the concepts, the way it folds back, the way the wheels come out and wheels go in. Last week I watched a movie called Fifth Element. I was sitting with Tanul sir and family here, and we watched a movie called Fifth Element. It's a beautiful movie, and Bruce Willis is there, and it's a science fiction movie. All the vehicles in that movie they were not designed by Daniel Simon, but they were pretty much inspired, and I like the style of that. And I enjoyed the movie, the way the lifestyle of the people with the automobile styling, and how everything is there, how the graphics are there, and how the detailings are there, how different materials been used, how the different colors been used. So it's been always inspiring to see that how science fiction movies, and how the futuristic concepts done by many design companies are inspiring us. This is also very interesting concept of the Lotus bike. Very bold color of like a green color being used here, and the expressions are exaggerated. The feelings are exaggerated. When you look at them, you have that wow feel into it. So how can we transform these learnings into our realm? If my realm is architecture, how can I learn from these forms, the colors, the treatments, the fonts, into my building? What happens very interestingly, buildings are static and they stay in one place, and vehicles move. So there is a movement, so there is a kinetics involved when it comes to vehicles, and buildings are pretty much static. There are some products like vacuum cleaner, it moves, but there are some products like TV, it sits in one place. So how does the treatments, the form treatments and the aesthetics and the form differs when the product is in a kinetic motion? So here all the work has been done for a kinetic motion, hence the colors, hence the form. So whenever there is a kinetics involved, the kinetic means it will solve aerodynamics, because the vehicle is gonna move cutting through the air. So the aerodynamics plays a very important role, how the air will flow on it. The buildings don't have aerodynamic shapes because buildings are static, they are in one place, so we don't put any aerodynamics in. But our future buildings, if we bring aerodynamics into the building as purely aesthetics, how the buildings will look like. And so it can be very inspiring to get to know what happens with kinetics, and how does this kinetics and understanding of movement when it puts into the static product, and then the static product will have some movement, visual movement will be there in it. So it can be very interesting way we can look into the whole design side of it. So yes, there are many product designers who are inspired from Daniel Simon's work. Many graphic designers are inspired therefrom, but taking it further, what I want to see today is we come from various backgrounds, fashion design, graphic design. We come from a different background. How can we get inspirations from these? Even I was reading about John Ive. John Ive worked very closely with in Apple with Steve Jobs. So both Steve Jobs and John Ive were very close to Daniel Simon. In fact, Daniel Simon was involved and he worked with them, not any commercial projects, but they were like friends just to meet up together. So I saw a lot of inspiration in John Ive's work derived from Daniel Simon's work. the complexity of the form, how they made it simple. So when it comes to iPhone, it is very complex product, but how they bring the simplicity and just give the emphasis to the desired functions. That's what been resolved by John Ive in Apple. And all these people, when they sit together and when they form, like, this is a motorbike, it's been futuristic, but it's been stripped down absolutely to the minimum aesthetics, and how it's been shown that it's futuristic. Then the proportions and the size and the proportion plays a very important role. The size of a tire, as in proportion to the size of the whole vehicle. So the question is, how as a fashion designer I can get inspired, and what is that I can do in the world of fashion design. How as an architect I can get inspired by these futuristic images, the Daniel Simon's signature thing. How I can inspire from these forms and the beauty of these graphics and the beauty of these colors and aerodynamics and kinetics into the realm of mine, and how will it look like, can be an interesting thing, and vice versa. I also want to see that what are the characters of a static product. If there is a building, and typically the building has a facade, so it kind of gives you a face, so how, if I understand the static nature and character of architecture, what will happen if it's been applied to the products which are in kinetic, in motion. It can be very interesting. Not many designers had explored it. I have been thinking about it for a long time, and I'm watching whenever I'm looking for the new designs, and whenever I'm reading the design books and exploring the designs. I always like to see how characters of a static and the kinetic products been interchanged, and how they are driving the inspirations from them. Another name comes in front now, most of you, when you are watching these Dan Simon works, is Zaha Hadid's work. Zaha Hadid, as you know, is a well-known architect, and her work has a very pretty interesting dynamism in them. She had brought that kinetic feel into the structures and the building which are static. There is one pier, or the train stations and museums. So everywhere there is a movement in it. There's a beautiful aerodynamism in it, and that beauty has been enhanced because they had driving the characters very much from the aerodynamics and the movement. So it becomes very interesting. That's a very interesting image from Oblivion. You can see the anger, you can see how the pod is not the friendly pod, and how when you watch the movie, all these forms tells you whether this is a friendly spaceship or not, and whether this spaceship belongs to your enemy, or it belongs to the hero. This is also from Tron movie. They use the color, the cool blue color scheme was for the good guys, and the red and the dark, very bright orange color scheme for the bad guys. So, and there were the fights. It's a simple but very, very beautiful concept of the movie Tron. Some of the concept sketches, if you see, a lot of work goes in sketching. Yesterday you had seen our discussion on the sketching and how important it is. Daniel Simon has a huge big team of designers who are involved in sketching and explorations and prototype making. Some of the futuristic concepts, they go out and they make it in real. His team is also involved in designing cars for Formula One super fast cars. So it is very interesting that how they put their best into the car styling design, and how they use their best efforts in doing that. That's another very interesting sketch of future cosmic vehicles. There's a book called Cosmic Motors by Daniel Simon. Very interesting book, very nice book. Must buy. One more book he wrote, I forgot the name of that, Massive Impact or something. Go online, check Daniel Simon's books, and if you have, they are very expensive book, because they are like luxury books. The books are like this thick and this big, kind of a thing, and it's like a catalog, high quality print catalogs by Daniel Simon. But if you have money, go ahead, order them, buy these books. Pretty interesting books they have. And if you are even they are hiring, if you are a very good industrial designer, product designer, working for Daniel Simon can be a dream come true. So look into the possibilities of finishing and bringing that quality in your work, so you get to work in his studio. So it can be a really good journey to take it further. Today we just started from creating painting or drawing graphics on our a bike or motor, or the pod what we have, or the beautiful form vehicle what we have. Take it further, understand it better, understand how the forms gives you the feeling, why your bike or your scooter has that particular form and the aerodynamism in it, and what does that means to you, and how the future of all this will be. Okay, so yeah, that's it from my talk. This was from Star Wars. Very beautiful Star Wars spaceship design they've done. Again from Oblivion. Some of these sketches. He's very good at sketching, and his teams. They online you'll find a lot of sketching material for future vehicles. So go and explore and see what happens. So one more movie before I go is Martian. Martians, the Land Rover on Mars is being designed by Daniel Simon's team. It's beautiful to see, so check that out. It's a beautifully done work, and the detailings. So there is a lot here. Go ahead and study Daniel Simon's work more, get inspired, and see to it that whatever realm you are architect, you are fashion designer, you might be a graphic designer, see to it that how Daniel Simon's work will inspire you and will make you, go further and explore in new areas. Thank you.